Hey, John from EnduranceCoach.com here. Welcome to my YouTube channel again. Today I'm not in some amazing mountain backdrop scenery, otherwise I do have the great view from my window. But today I wanted to go over something which is really topical, which is always coming up on all the forums, all the Facebook pages, and I wanted to try and create something, as always, that's going to be helpful and that people can utilise. And so on that note, we're just going to have a brief look of why this book is so popular and why so many people recommend it and why I recommend it. And obviously myself working as a coach now for over 20 years, 23 years including adventure and endurance athletes. This book gives you the fundamentals, it gives you the principles, the physiology that you need to understand as to how to progress as an endurance athlete. And that's within any of the kind of sports that you're doing within endurance. These principles in here relate. It's explained really well, really clearly. It covers so many of the questions that pop up all the time, and I just wanted to give a little bit of an insight to that. And obviously I don't get paid anything for promoting this. Steve House, etc. They run a coaching company as well. I don't know what their plans are like, etc. I'm sure they're really good. Obviously they've collaborated with Kilian Jornet on this one as well, and having some of his reference points in there helps validate some of the things that they're putting across, which is also really useful. So without further ado, I'm going to look at it goes into and it actually breaks down quite simply the processes. So understanding the physiology of endurance, and within here it explains the systems that get utilised, and I've marked out some good sections here just showing why we're always talking about the aerobic system and the benefits of the aerobic system against the anaerobic system, and how also the aerobic system actually underpins our anaerobic system. So why we need to be spending so much more time working, like the Max Fitzgerald books of 80-20. A lot of elite athletes that I work with know it's around 80 to 90% of their sessions are focused on aerobic training. It's a way more efficient system, and this book basically explains it in a beautiful way. So if we just take for one example here, I love this diagram. Let's see if I can get it in there. Which is, you got the nice vacuum cleaner, and you have your slow twitch, which for argument's sake, let's say this is the aerobic, and here is your anaerobic. And what happens here is, the bigger your aerobic system, the more you can clean away the byproducts of the anaerobic system and make the anaerobic system even more beneficial to your overall energy system. This will start to tell you the amount of energy that can be utilized by the aerobic system compared to that can be used by the anaerobic system. It'll also start to go into things about hill repetitions that keep popping up a lot. It's just generally, it's a really useful book. And other than like getting a coach, a good qualified coach, this book is kind of like Bible in many ways to help you actually understand what is going on within yourself. It is sciencey, but it's not over the top science. It's science that you can understand and connect to, and then progress your actual training. So if you are training yourself for anything endurance wise, this book is an absolute, it's a go-to. Okay, so yeah, this is why you'll keep seeing it pop up on Facebook every so often, people mentioning get this book, etc. It's got nice little snippets in there from other athletes and ways in which they've done things, and like I mentioned before, Kilian Jornet, his process is in there, which helps to validate the whole process. Obviously I was 26 years ago when I did A-level sports studies and biology, to then a degree, and then co-writing a master's in athlete development and peak performance. In all of this time span, our basic physiology as humans hasn't changed. Okay, so the principles in here I could go back to and find in my A-level books. It's the real underpinning of how we actually perform as people, so it's very worthwhile. I hope that kind of clears up why this book's mentioned so much. There is so much more in it, but obviously I can't sit here and go through all of it because that becomes a little bit boring. But definitely, if you're training yourself, or even if you have a coach and you want to get better understanding, a lot of my athletes have this book. It helps them to understand sessions that I set as well. Go and get it, and it will really help you progress. Cheers. Oh, and just before I go, please don't forget to obviously follow my YouTube channel, or if you want to find more details on my coaching services, it's e3coach.com. Obviously, do drop me a line if you're interested in any endurance or adventure training. Like I say, it's what I've been doing for nearly 23 years now. So yeah, drop me an email, drop me a message. If you just want to have a chat about anything as well, it doesn't tie you into actually working with me, but I'm always happy to speak to people about any questions. Cheers, take care.